you're watching this, I'm probably dead. I am dead. If you're watching this, I am dead. What a cliche. As I record this, it is getting closer. I can hear it. You can hear it too, I'm sure. I'm sure you can hear it. I'm recording this under appreciable mental strain, since by the end I shall be no more. I wish I'd never founded this horrible logic, daggerable curiosity, cursed scholarly instincts. Some things man is not meant to know. Some things man can't know. In attempting to know these things, I have sealed my fate. Despite the mutterings of that great philosopher, I suspect that disintegration is, in fact, quite painful. Shit, fuck, shit!
Dear Professor Gurlith, my name is J.R. Placeholder, and I'm a storage picker. You might have seen our show on television. Myself and my colleagues travel around the country and buy up old abandoned storage lockers. You know, the kind of people pack with their old stuff, mostly junk, sometimes a treasure. Sometimes we come across some funny stuff. I have attached an image of one such object. I hope you might be interested in taking a look at it and maybe appraising it. Sincerely, J.R. P.S. If you're interested in buying, we're interested in getting this weird thing off of our hands as soon as possible.
I was interested. I had recently come into a large sum of money as well as a new home. My aunt only so recently shuffled off this mortal coil in a mysterious plane crash. She left me the family estate and enough money I thought to be comfortable for the rest of my life. There were a lot of details to sort through, but I knew I would be leaving Miskatonic University. I would teach one class, online, in order to keep some relationship with the school where I had built my reputation. But ultimately I was leaving old MU and going home. Researching this piece would be a welcome scholarly diversion to sorting through tax documents and insurance policies, or so I thought. And the old place could use a little decoration as well. Nothing like an ancient statue to give my familial abode that old professorial touch. The property left by my maiden aunt was an old lighthouse on the New England coast. Some say my great-great-great-uncle Herbert built it after his ship crashed ashore nearby. Others have hinted that he merely built around an existing structure which he found there, an early attempt of man to reach into the skies, an antediluvian affront to the gods. It has been said that it goes down much further than it goes up, but the lower levels have been sealed for generations. In purchasing this intriguing little artifact, I would not only get something decorative to research, but I would have the opportunity to be on TV. I found the thought of reaching an audience larger than my 50-seat lecture hall titillating in a rather unseemly way. When the day came, I reminded everyone I knew.
Hey, fans! Don't forget I'm going to be on Storage Pickers tonight. 8 p.m. on the Education and Arts Network. You never know what those crazy pickers will find. Hashtag Storage Pickers. Storage Pickers!
So, what can you tell us about this thing, Professor?
The text is not in any language I've ever seen.
Yeah, me either, Prof.
And it almost looks like sandstone, but it seems incredibly hard. I can't place its age or place of origin, but this symbol on the back is reminiscent of the Argent star.
Astrology?
No, Macedonian. The symbol is over 2,000 years old.
Hot damn!
But I doubt the statue is that old.
No.
There is some wear and patina here on the edges of these tentacle-like structures. I guess it's at least 100, maybe 200 years old, but it's hard to say. This substance is made out of is very unusual.
Bottom line, what's it worth, Professor?
It might be worthless, and it might be priceless.
But if you had to put a price on it, what would you say it was worth?
I can't guess what it might sell for in a well-advertised auction, but I personally find it interesting, so I could offer you $1,000.
1,500.
Fine.
2,000.
1,500?
Deal!
Now, what do I do with you, my aberrant little friend? Your point of origin, age, substance, so mysterious.
Can't place its age or place of origin, but this symbol on the back is reminiscent of the Argent star.
Astrology?
No, Macedonian.
Weird. Nothing shiny. Object didn't move. Neither did point of view of camera. That's the moment that my curiosity was truly piqued. This object, which had fallen into my lap out of the blue, slowly became my obsession. It would prove to be my downfall. But I didn't know that then. Looking back, I envy this man his security and safety. A classics professor at Miskatonic University, a beautiful family estate recently bequeathed to him by a maiden aunt, scholarly interests that kept him busy but did not write him like a loathsome demon. Like the object would. Object appears to be made of a sandstone-like material, but much, much harder. Markings in language unknown. I find no record of it in Thompson, Cleburne, or Kelps's undeciphered scripts. Note: contact Dr. Marsh in geology for consultation. Of course, Marsh would prove to be no help. The object seemed to be made of something unearthly, unknown, perhaps ungodly. Its texture was fine, like sandstone, but so hard that it proved to be impenetrable, even by X-rays. He was perplexed and discomposed, accusing me of concocting trickery and artifice. I assured him that if he was being played the fool, so was I. It was only 4.7 pounds, much lighter than it appeared, and yet so very, very dense. It had the appearance of sandstone, but when I ran my fingers across the mottled surface, I had the distinct impression of slimy scales. This disconnect between visual texture and actual sensory input from my fingers was so great that I spent long spans of time, sometimes hours, caressing its horrible features. Despite this constant handling, it never got dirty or worn. It always appeared exactly as it had when I first laid eyes on it. Cursed moment that was. It looked like I had months of research ahead. Conferring with colleagues, traveling abroad, or perhaps...
Cthulhu. Funglui, Migvalnath, Cthulhu, Rulye, Vaganachel, Vatachin.
You should get rid of it right away.
Dude, that's freaky.
He sleeps. He dreams.
Your photo has been removed due to a violation of our policy. If you would like to challenge this removal, please reply to this email. It will take at least 5 days for us to respond to your challenge. Thanks, the Internet.
This was truly perplexing.
I do not believe that my post was in violation of any policies of which I am aware. Please take a look at the image and tell me what policies were violated. Thanks, Professor Durlith.
Are you challenging us? Continue to violate our policies and your accounts will be deleted. The Internet.
So much for crowdsourcing. Still, the word Cthulhu showed up twice. And the comments came from people that were not my usual friends or followers, yet they found my image instantly. Bizarre. I must look into this.
A quick search for Cthulhu brought up only 2 sites. Both required membership, but no options to sign up. A little more research revealed one of those to be a torrent site specializing in horror movies. I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't understand any of it. I could find no mention of the other site, www.ftagn.com, anywhere. One of the replies to my photos said I should get rid of the infernal object, and I was already beginning to think that they were right. Perhaps Ratfink69 could help where a Google search had failed.
What do you mean I should get rid of it? What do you know? Are you a member of ftagn.com?
He was not a member, but he knew one. He said the guy was crazy, maybe even dangerous. What followed was a long series of paranoid emails through which I was able to set up a secure video chat with his acquaintance, a man he only called the cultist. I hoped to get some answers.
He sleeps. He dreams. You too will dream.
Who is he? What does he have to do with my statue?
And he is coming. You too will dream. The stars align, and we prepare. He is coming, and with him a new world. We are many. We are more than you know. He is coming. Your statue, his arms, his words. We are coming, and we will have it.
Look, if this is just some ploy to scare me out of my property, you've got the wrong man. I don't believe any of this mumbo-jumbo. I'm a man of science, of reason. If you want the statue, just make me a fair offer.
I offer you a quick death. I offer your soul a moment of peace before it's devouring. I offer you a season of sanity before an eternity of torment. Sleep on it.
That was weeks ago. I haven't slept a whole night through since. The dreams. Dreams of an ancient city, of underground caverns that go on for miles, of confusion, of things that could not be, of men lost at sea and minds lost forever. Every time I closed my eyes, I was haunted by strange and terrible dreams. And every time I opened them, my research led me deeper into a world I could hardly recognize. My aunt's fortune was quickly disappearing as new and rare texts were arriving every day. I saw less and less of the outside world and interacted less and less with my students. My time was spent scouring texts, both ancient and modern, for any mention of Cthulhu, and soon, a line or two at a time, I pieced together what was an ancient mythology, and I feared a modern religion. was at first still spending a few minutes a day handling my one class, grading, checking the forum. And it occurred to me, perhaps others were having these dreams.
Extra credit assignment. Has anyone been having any weird dreams? Ancient cities, impossible geometry, tentacled dragon things. Please email detailed descriptions with illustrations if possible for maximum 25 extra credit points. Ooh.
To my surprise, one student responded. An art history major.
Professor Durden, I have been having strange dreams. They distract me even when I'm awake. Disturbing dreams. Dreams of things that should not be. Acute angles that act as if they're obtuse. And a great, winged, tentacle-faced creature. Should I be concerned? Yours truly, Chad Wilcox.
His dreams were full of images of the great lost city of Rillier, its burial under the waves, its ancient architecture, and now its lone inhabitant, the great Cthulhu. He heard the chant, Finglui, Mignaf Cthulhu, Rillier, Magahagnagu, Futile, over and over until, though awake, he found himself muttering it under his breath at idle moments, while waiting in line at the bank or stopped at a red light. In his dreams, Rillier was sinking and sunk. In my dreams, it is rising or risen, and Cthulhu himself at times appears to be chasing a ship across the open seas. I had already told Chad that he could turn in his final paper late, but now I fear it may never arrive. He had not responded to the last assignment, or my last email, which was 5 days ago. His final email had described a certain sort of dream, a great ritual in a swamp, a statue like my own, and a great morass of people, all kinds of people, a writhing pile of flesh, of sex, of violence, and the statue at the center on a tall pedestal, around which were hung 12 young women, violated and eviscerated, a most unholy scene. If our dreams of Rillier and Cthulhu were true, and I was beginning to believe they were, then maybe his dream of the ritual was true too. I would scour the news and hire some online assistants to see if anything could be found regarding such a ritual. Meanwhile, I continued my research, reading hundreds of pages for the odd line or two that might illumine the strange world I had discovered, hoping beyond hope to find a way to stop what I was beginning to sense was coming. That evening, one of my online assistants forwarded me an article from the New Orleans Times-Picayune. 2 weeks earlier, 12 young women had all disappeared in a single night on Bourbon Street. I didn't think much of it at the time, but after Wilcox's dream, I had to find out more. Their bodies were found yesterday in a swamp, hours outside of the city. What little description there was matched Wilcox's dream. A ritual, sexual and frenzied. One detective was quoted in the article, Joseph Pendleton. Most of my next morning was spent on the phone with the New Orleans Police Department trying to speak with Pendleton. I eventually found an email address for him on a web page for a Citizens Police Relations Committee he had served on.
Dear Detective Pendleton, I may have some information regarding the 12 murdered girls. This is going to sound bizarre, trust me, I do know this, but I have been having dreams. Not just me, one of my students as well, that mirror what happened to those poor women. I can't explain why, but it may be in connection to an object I recently acquired. I fear that something is happening in the background that I don't quite understand yet. but it is all in connection with this mysterious object, this thing they call Cthulhu. Oh, dear.
As my computer and surveillance rebooted, I had a sinking feeling that this oddly timed blackout was no coincidence. They had stopped me. My blood ran cold, and when my email finally reloaded, I discovered that it was completely blank. All of my correspondence over the course of years was gone. Vanished. Except for one unopened email from the internet. I stopped reaching out to outside sources and spent even more time poring over my texts, then ordering even more online, searching for answers regarding this odd little figure. It spoke to me, implored me to uncover its sinister secrets. I was quite sure, without grasping how I knew this or when I became certain, that the figure was evil. The malevolent gaze bored into my soul, looking for what? A home? A meal? It surely began to feast on my health, and later, my sanity. I stopped checking in on my online class. My miskatonic email box filled with questioning, then concerned, then outraged missives from students and colleagues. I occasionally heard the doorbell, but never answered it. Finally, one day, the letter from Miskatonic came. I had abandoned my duties, and the university, my academic home, was severing ties with me. No matter. The object consumed me now. Slowly but inexorably crawling upon my consciousness came a dizzying fear. A fear all the greater because I could not analyze it, and it seemed to concern a stealthily approaching menace, not death, but some nameless, unheard-of thing inexpressibly more ghastly and abhorrent. Soon my body began to fail. At first a dry cough. Then my appetite dwindled as I spent hour upon hour gazing at the statue, making notes on its every crevice and marking. Phantom smells haunted me. At first the dust from my ancient tomes was overpowering, but it was soon replaced by a fishy smell. I had the impression of deep water pressing down upon my body, forcing me to move ever slower in my Sisyphean task.
Damn it!
I had been expecting Kelsey, my niece. As the object took more and more of my time, I began modifying my existence. Soon I had hermited myself at the top of my shifting, moaning tower. Everything I needed was at my fingertips. No person was unreachable and no thing unattainable. My niece, Kelsey, came to stay with me on her summer vacation. Our ancestral home, my lonely tower, was quite near the blustering shore, and she spent most days in town or on the beach. She was usually home by 5 or 6 in the evening to cook dinner and bring it to me on a tray. She fetched my packages, did my laundry, posted my letters. But lately I noticed that she came home later and later, found reasons to leave earlier and be gone longer. I assumed it was a boy. A summer fling, taking her attention from her distracted and ailing uncle. 2 days later, I saw my niece. for the last time. She brought me my dinner.
I'm not sure I like it here, Uncle. You're not very social. In fact, you're getting pretty weird. And something about the townspeople here seems fishy.
What are they doing to make you suspicious?
Not like acting fishy, but like they remind me of fish. They're just not normal New Englanders.
And what's a normal New Englander? It's the 21st century, dear. All sorts of people live here now, and all of them are our friends. Just because they are different doesn't mean they are to be feared.
I know that, but I swear, these people aren't normal. Glad you got out of here for a little while, though.
What do you mean about me getting out of here? I haven't left. My work needs me here.
Well, I noticed that the basement wasn't boarded up any longer, so I just figured you had finally taken an interest in the rest of your property, or had at least come downstairs.
Well, I have to check the security cameras. I haven't left this room for days.
Weird. Well, then who removed the boards? That is super creepy. Anyway, I'm going down to the beach to read. There isn't anything else to do around here.
Of course, large sections of the security recordings were blank, including whatever happened in the basement. But she was right. The boards that had been in front of the entrance had been removed by someone or something.
Kelsey? I wonder where she could have gone. I should have eaten hours ago. I see this intersection here looks to be... Yes. I think this is definitely made later. Perhaps a scarring? I must look. Oh my! Damn. I must call a repairman. The damp or rats, I'm sure. Accursed vermin!
Over the next 24 hours, my surveillance cameras continued to fail, and Kelsey never appeared. I wondered if it was a holiday that I had forgotten, or perhaps she had told me she was going out of town, back to school. I so rarely listened to her prattling that she may very well have revealed this information. I made a mental note to call her parents and check in, but of course I quickly forgot as my work consumed me. This trickery of my occipital cortex left me discombobulated. This night, when winds from unknown spaces whirled me irresistibly into limitless vacuum beyond all thought and entity, something broke within me. Perceptions of the most maddeningly untransmissible sort had thronged upon me. Perceptions of infinity which at the time convulsed me with joy and horror, yet which are now partly lost to my memory and partly incapable of presentation to others. It was too much for my fragile human mind to bear. This is the point at which I began to converse with myself, quite extensively. I don't know when it happened, but...
Sweet Jesus! The walls, they moved! As swear they weren't at these peculiar angles before. They mimicked the angles at the base of the statue. How did I not notice that before? Was it always like that?
It wasn't. That possibility was so foreign, so hideous to me, that the well-worn walls of my paternal abode could have shifted, moved into alignment with a strange trinket? Impossible.
But it's true. It can't be, but it is. That should not be is right before my very own eyes. Granted, they have been failing me as of late, showing me lattice patterns and geometric shapes over the familiar surfaces of this room before dissolving into nothing. But that is fatigue, malnourishment.
I carefully measured the angle of the new walls and sketched out a diagram on some scraps of vellum found squirreled away in the ancient bookcases. I pondered, remeasured, probed, scribbled.
This should not be. This should not be!
The angles didn't add up. At first I thought my measurements were off, but after checking and double-checking, I knew my diagrams were correct. I began to search the internet for clues as to what was happening and ran across the writings of Lobachevsky, Gauss, and Ornery.
Non-Euclidean geometry!
The figure, somehow, was forcing my ancient moss-draped home to conform to its form. To what end, I could not ascertain.
I was never afraid of the unknown. Of aliens, of a god, or gods. The crawling chaos that has grabbed hold of my subconscious in a vice-like grip did not yet exist for me. I was afraid of much more commonplace things and occurrences. Bullies, young women, disappointment, mockery, but the unknown. I never feared the unknown, and it is not the unknown that I fear now. I fear what I know is coming, what I cannot escape, what lurks, if not directly behind my door, then only down the thoroughfare, and if not there, then not far nearer, certainly, than I would like. The figure is stalking me, and appearing in places I did not set it! I am certain as anything that I placed it here by my books just yesterday. I set it by this coupling of gardeners, exotics, and honesties, thinking the two a likely pair, and now it's over there! How did it creep to that place? When I not observed it, those atrophied stone wings spread out, embracing the air currents and winging about this room. Does it pull itself with that large, craggy warm base across the room? Closer. Ever closer. Are you taunting me? Damnable brute! Bullying trinket! I have had enough! How it begins.
Yes, it is the end.
The end?
It is the end. We're coming down through the gloaming. For me, for you, for us all. Now it is all over and we shall know true pain and true blissful ending. They travel in cloud ships and swim up from the depths. They're inconceivable and they're coming. Just wait here. Wait right here.
Are you a beacon? What are you bringing down upon the unsuspecting head of humanity? No! I will not allow it! That was easy. Myself with my measures, attempting to annihilate this evil object and stop the coming of him. The figure appeared and reappeared, seemingly not only unscathed, but stronger and more triumphant than my efforts. The voice, the visage, continued to taunt me from the walls and rafters. Was only to Catnut, convinced the beast would creep into the room and tear at my flesh with its long claws and teeth. Shaking me to my core and leaving me nauseated and ever disturbed. Finally, my sanity broke. I can take this no longer. If I cannot end the object, then I will end myself. I have been hounded by a monstrosity so unbearable that it is unnameable. Fool that I was to plunge with such unsanctioned frenzy into mysteries no man was meant to penetrate. My last wish. Take this sinister object you see before you and be done with it. Drop it into the sea, bury it under a volcano, launch it into space, be done with the foul thing. This might sound ridiculous, but I am not insane. For what do we know of the world and the universe about us? Our means of receiving impressions are absurdly few, and our notions of surrounding objects infinitely narrow. Objects can possess qualities and abilities the simple human mind cannot conceive of. This object is evil, not of Satan, but of someone far worse. Heed my warning and be done with it. I feel that I should have something more eloquent to say at the end of all this, but alas, I will have to be content with goodbye.
Stupid human, so stupid. Death has stopped, not just here, everywhere. These wheat sheaves been holed up in your barn, and the world has stopped dying. Children born by the I'm exiting. They won't allow it. They are coming to feed.
If you are watching this, I am dead.
What a cliche.
As I record this, it is getting closer. I can hear it. You can hear it. I'm sure you can hear it. I am recording this under appreciable mental strain, since by the end I shall be no more. I wish I had never found it. Damnable curiosity! Cursed scholarly instincts! Some things man is not meant to know. Some things man can't know. In attempting to know these things, I have sealed my fate. Despite the mutterings of that great philosopher, I suspect that disintegration is, in fact, quite painful.